You're good.
Tell him to stop. Okay, so like I said, so each of us take a question, read it, we'll say which answer we got, and then if somebody is confused or has a question, then we'll go from there. So I'll go ahead and start. The forces that make market economies work are, and I put C, supply and demand.
Yep.
Does anybody disagree? Okay, Alyssa, why don't you take the next one? Oh, she looks a little frozen. San, do you want to take question 2?
Okay. The highest form of competition is called, I got say, perfect competition.
It's called perfect competition. Did anybody else not get C? Okay, then let's move on. Is it Emily, or is your name Emily, or did I get it wrong? I wrote it down wrong.
Sorry, hope this is a little better.
Yeah. Alyssa, why don't you take question 3?
Okay. So just like read it and say what I got?
Yeah, just read it and say what you got, and then if anybody has a question or a problem, we can discuss it.
Okay. So I said, so for the demand for a good or services.
Okay, Alyssa, you're freezing up.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Is it better now?
Yeah.
Okay. I said A, those who buy the good or service for number 3.
Okay. Anybody have a problem with that? Perfect. Okay. Last but not least, tell me, Zoe. It was Zoe, not Emily.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry, Zoe. I was calling you Emily today.
It's okay.
Okay, Zoe, question 4.
Most studies indicate that tobacco and marijuana tend to be a substitute.
That's what I got.
That's what I got.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so the following table contains a demand schedule for a good. So everybody's looking at the schedule. If the law of demand applies to this good, then Q1 or quantity 1 could be, and I put A0.
That's what I got.
Okay? Perfect. Okay, San, you're up.
6. The movement from DA to DB could be caused by, I got a decrease in price.
I did not.
I put B, but this one was a little confusing to me, but I did think B was the closest, but I'm not sure. What did you get?
I actually got D. What did you get, Zoe?
I got B, the second one.
The second one, a decrease in income, assuming, okay, because it's moving from DA to DB. So the demand is increasing because it's moving to the right. Do we agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so what would cause a demand to increase? A decrease in price? That wouldn't change the demand line. That would change the point on the line. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So we
Correct.
know it's not A. So it can't be A because a decrease in price would just change the quantity purchased at what price. So it would change the dots on the line, but not the whole demand line. So I do know that to be true. B, a decrease in income, assuming the good is inferior. Okay, I can see that because an inferior good, but the decrease in income would cause you to buy an inferior good. So that would increase the demand of that inferior good. Okay, that does make sense. Okay, Yes, I'm wrong because D would not be right because a compliment would make it, yeah.
You would
it
buy less of the
competent. Yeah, you are correct. So B is correct. I agree.
Awesome.
Did that make sense then?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Let's see, who's next? Where are we at? Is it Zoe's turn?
Me,
Oh,
I'm not sure.
Alyssa. It's Alyssa's turn.
Okay, this one I was like a little unsure on, so I don't know.
Okay.
I put A just because the numbers I was getting were matching A, but I felt like maybe the line should be more continuous, like it shouldn't just end. But maybe it should, so I don't know. I put A.
I also got A. The one thing's not correct.
I got C. So let me look at that. Because they're asking for, let's see, if 4 families listed in the table are the only demanders of Mountain Dew in the market, which of the following is correct graph of market demand? You would need to total all of the family's demands.
Right.
So you would have to do some math.
So
So
for
I got
$7.
50, 40, 20, 30. Let's see, 50. So
It's
because you would have to go across at $7, the demand would be 50. And so that was C to me. The price at $7, the quantity you would sell is 50. Does that make sense?
C at 7 for the price, the quantity was 0,
Yes.
Yeah.
not 50.
The quantity is
So that
0.
one is not.
Yeah, so at
Yeah.
point like where X is 0, Y is 7, and Y is the price.
Mhm.
Whereas for point A, when you go to 7 on the Y axis and you move over to the point that has 7, that's at 50. I don't know if that makes sense. So your numbers are for sure right, but point by point on the graph.
Yeah, you're correct. Let's see. So I'm trying to figure out why that doesn't, because the price, and you guys thought it was A?
Yes.
Yeah.
So at $7 for A, it's 50 quantity.
My graph A must be off then.
It's like the shorter line, like it ends kind of
Oh, I
abruptly.
got it. Okay. No, I see what you're saying. That's
So if you
inside.
move across at 7.
Okay. Then you guys are correct. I can see that. Okay, sorry. My
No, you're
graph
good.
was not, my graph didn't, yeah. I can see where that is. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, I'm okay with that. You saved me a wrong answer. Thank you.
Awesome.
Is
Sorry,
everybody
also
else?
I was my computer cut out for number 1 and 2. Did you guys get C for both of those?
Let's see. 1 was C and 2 was C, yes.
Okay, good. Then I'm caught up now.
Then you're good to go. Okay,
Okay.
next. Zoe, are you next?
Yeah. When quantity demanded has increased at every price, it might be because the price of the complementary goods has decreased.
That's what I got.
That's what I got.
Perfect. Okay, so my turn. The quantity supplied of a good is the amount that I put D, sellers are willing and able to sell.
Yeah, that's what I got. Sorry.
Everybody good? Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, Zin, you have number 10.
Okay. Today's supply curve for iPads could shift in response to a change in I got C, the number of buyers of iPads. But I'm not sure
I didn't
if
know
I
this one.
got the
Okay, I was all over the place in this one.
Same.
I just about justified every answer on this one. I'm trying to decide what I actually came up with. I actually believe I said all of the above. So let's think about the supply curve and what would cause the supply curve to shift. But it wouldn't be D, all of the above, because today's price of iPods, that one didn't make sense to me. It just says today's price of iPods. That shouldn't change a shift in supply of the supply. The expected future price of iPods, that can change the supply, because if you, as a supplier, think that iPods are going to go up in cost, you make more. Does that make sense? In the expectations. Yeah. That was one of the things that said, expectations was one of the things that said a shift in the demand. So I know B is definitely one that can cause a shift in the supply. But then also the number
that makes sense to me, for sure.
And then C said the number of buyers of iPods, but that would be the demand, correct?
Yeah, that's what I thought, so I wasn't sure on that. Like, that one was confusing to me.
So I think definitely not number C, and so that would definitely leave out all of the above. And to me,
so
A
probably B.
Yeah, to me, A didn't make any sense. Today's price of iPods, but I did struggle with this, but when you change the price, so today's price versus,
then it would change the supply.
That does not change the supply curve. It changes. Yeah, it doesn't shift it. So to me, whenever it says price, yeah, but yeah, I was rethinking this. Is B? Does everybody agree?
Price or not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think B makes the most sense.
Okay, I'm going to go with B unless somebody really talks me out of it.
I'm good with B.
Okay. Okay, who's next? Where did we end up?
I think it's actually, I don't know. Is it me?
Go ahead, Alyssa.
Okay. This one I was unsure on too, so I shouldn't have volunteered. But I said, I don't even remember the question. Okay. This I was confused because I didn't say if chicken and turkey were complements or substitutes. I assume there's more substitutes, but maybe it even doesn't matter. But I put A, DA to DB. Could be totally wrong.
I have a friend that's in economics. She's going for her master's in economics. Can you believe that? Why?
Why?
And so she's majoring in economics. So I actually shot this question for her because I was like, this one makes no sense. But it says,
I didn't understand what was happening.
The question says, all else equal, a sale on chicken would cause a movement from. So when you're talking about price, you're moving along the demand curve. You're not moving the demand curve.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, does anybody disagree with me? Zoe looks like
she thinks that would move from X to Y.
Yeah. And I actually put it from Y to X because the price drops. Because when you put something on sale, the price is cheaper.
Oh, I didn't even think about it like that. I was thinking of someone purchasing chicken, like a sale on chicken, like someone bought chicken. But that makes more sense that chicken went on sale.
Do you disagree, Zoe?
I don't know.
So I put D because I wrote on the side here, demand curve shifters would be the number of buyers, income of the person purchasing, a price of a related good, and it's not talking about substitutes or complementary goods, the tastes of the buyer, or expectations. And none of those have to do with putting chicken on sale. So when you put chicken on sale, there's a sale on chicken, that drops the price. So you're moving, it's either got to be C or D, but you're moving it from Y to X. And if you move it from Y to X, you're actually selling more. Because if you draw your little...
So here's my other question. This is the demand curve for turkey, not for chicken.
Oh, because the first one at the top.
Would that make it?
The diagram below pertains to the demand for turkey in the United States.
So if
Okay.
chicken went on sale, people are going to buy more chicken and probably less turkey, I'm assuming.
Okay.
So would that mean that demand for turkey went down? So X to Y or no?
Okay, that would actually change. It wouldn't be C or D. I didn't catch the first part of the question. I just read 11. See, so I didn't even read the first part up there where it says the diagram below pertains to the demand.
Which I feel like I would need to know if chicken and turkey are substitutes or complements or what. So that's why I was confused about it.
They would be substitutes.
Okay.
You would buy turkey on sale and because it's similar to chicken. So it's a substitute, but that would change the demand line and not, so it's not C or D. So if it would go from turkey, so it would go down because you would sell less turkey.
So DA to DB? I actually
DA to DB. What do you think, Zoe?
The first one, A.
Did you get A?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
it's
it's
like
what I put.
here with the right answer the whole time.
Good, because I didn't know why. I just like, that's kind of, my brain just got me to A and couldn't really explain it. So
You're good. But I have to talk it through because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, that helps me a lot.
Okay. Sorry, I made that more difficult than it had to be.
You're good. I hope it's right.
But you were right. Look at that. Woo-hoo!
Let's hope. Let's hope.
Okay, who's next? I don't know who's next.
Zoe.
Okay.
Excellent.
If these are the only 4 sellers in the market, then the market quantity supplies at the time of $10 is D 44 units.
That's what I got too. Good. Excellent. Okay. Is it my turn? Let's see. A rightward shift of a supply curve is called an increase in, no, that would be a decrease, right? No, it was an increase in supply. I put A.
I put
Right?
A as well.
I put D.
I also put D.
Oh,
Okay.
honestly,
So
I think it is.
okay. Demand curve to the right is an increase.
Mhm.
Supply curve to the right is a decrease.
Oh, a decrease, huh? Is it?
Right.
Supply.
No, it's an increase. If you put 2 X's on a thing, and this is the demand one, shifting to the right is increasing your demand because you're going along the demand. The supply one, shifting to the right, would also increase the demand. When you shift to the right, you are increasing your demand. You're increasing your supply. No? Okay, shoot, now you guys got me thinking. It would be a decrease in supply.
I'm gonna try and
People
fix it.
are, your supply curve goes to the right. Okay, I'm gonna have to,
I think
I'll
that would be
look
an
that up.
increase.
but I'm just trying to decide if the decrease,
I think it's an increase. Oh, no.
okay, well, it's A or B. I will have to I'll have to research that one back up. And I think you guys might be right. So it might be a decrease in supply to the right. I'm sure it says something somewhere really quick. Okay, take the next one
I
and
think
I'll,
to the right is an increase,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think it's right. I think that's in the study guide. So I think it is A.
It's, yeah. So anyone to go? Yeah, I'm going to go with A. That was my first guess. So because it wouldn't be a decrease in supply when you're shifting to the right, you're increasing.
You're increasing.
So what does D mean though?
So D is different because quantity supplied, I think that would be moving a point on the line.
Okay.
Would be increasing or decreasing the quantity supplied, but an actual shift, the term would be increase in supply as a whole, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if the price goes up, then they're going to want to increase the quantity supplied. When you're just increasing the supply, it's shifting. Yeah, I hope that's what I'm going to go with.
That's what I'm going with too.
Correct.
Okay, who's next?
I guess it's you. You? Oh, sorry.
Me again?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I can go.
Go, Alyssa.
What number
go.
is it? 14?
Yeah.
Which supply schedules a big law of supply? I said D.
I also got D.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, B and D, I think. Is D. Anyone else?
Agree with that?
I got A.
You got A? Yeah. Okay, so when you have a supply schedules obey the law of supply, which means at the zero price, they supply the least amount, not the most.
Okay.
So, because a firm A quantity, they wouldn't want to sell zero, and this is supply, not demand. So,
okay.
Yeah, see, I had to think about it like 5 times.
So it's going to be
as a supply schedule. Because if I was a supplier, I would want to sell the highest at the highest price, because that's what I want to do, not the demand as a buyer. So that I had to keep thinking about this. Okay, are we talking supply or are we talking demand? So that's why we all got D.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay, Sandra.
15?
Yes.
The unique point at which the supply and demand curve interest is called, I got the equilibrium.
Equilibrium. Well, that was an easy one.
Yeah, I liked that one.
I liked that one. That one was easy. Okay, Zoe.
Okay, 16. At a price of $35, there would be a C, surplus of 400 units.
That's what I got.
Yep. Yay.
You okay with that?
Good.
Sin's not in your head, so I guess we're good. Okay. 17 is me. Let's see. Which of the following movements would illustrate the effect in the market for fences of a decrease in the price of wood? Okay, I have lots of notes on this problem.
This one was complicated.
I had to really think on this one. I got A, from point A to point B, because the decrease in wood would affect the supply curve, causing it to shift to the right, which is increasing the supply, is what I wrote down. Does anybody
I
agree
put B,
with
but
me?
I'm trying to remember what my thought process was here.
Because I went back, and when I was watching one of the videos, it said to decide whether the event shifts the supply or the demand curve or both. So dropping the price of wood would affect the supply. It doesn't affect the demand. Correct? Does everybody agree with that? So that's the first question they told me to ask. And so I said, okay, it definitely affects the supply. And then they said, decide which direction the curve shifts. Well, if I am somebody making fences and I can get wood cheaper, I'm going to make more, right? Logically. So that would shift it to the right, increasing the supply. At least that's what I
Okay.
put.
You're
And-
probably right. I was thinking, I like can never wrap my head around like which to assume if it's like a complement or a substitute, and I think I treated them like substitutes, which
It's not a
probably messed me
substitute,
up
it would be a
because it's an
complement.
input thing.
Yeah, it's something that you put with it. Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
Do you have any comments on that, Zoe?
Mm-mm.
But however, sorry to bring this up. After talking that out, Zoe had a question about the question when we were talking about D, increase the quantity supply. I think that Zoe might have been right in question 13.
A rightward shift of supply. I don't know.
Because I wrote down here, decrease in wood would affect the supply curve, causing it to shift to the right, which is increasing the supply. Okay, no, increase in supply. No, you're right. I'm wrong. Okay.
So it's A.
So
still.
I got A. So if you look at the
Mhm.
graph, logically you would shift from A to B because that's the supply. Whereas A to D is a demand curve and B to C is a demand curve. A to B is supply and D to C is a supply. And the only one they had that was, they don't have a D to C. They only had an A to B. So that's why I chose A. Does that make sense to anybody or disagree, or I might be wrong?
Honestly, I don't know about this one. I don't know.
But that's what they wanted us to walk through, was to decide whether it was a shift in the supply or demand and which direction it shifted.
So ultimately, we decided that there's a shift in the demand and then just like a movement on the supply curve. Is that what
No,
you were saying?
It's a shift in supply. It has nothing to do with
So-
demand.
And you said your answer was A?
A. Mm-hmm. Because if
So
you look
for
at the points
A,
on the
moving from
graph,
point A to B, there is no shift in supply. Just a movement along supply one.
no. That's the movement would be along the demand curve from
So
A to B.
moving from point A to B, there is a shift in the demand curve. Like the demand curve is going like this to this.
No,
It's
your
moving to the
demand
right.
curve runs this direction. So shifting demand from 1 to 2, supply is from 1 to 2. That's the supply curve.
Oh, sorry. My computer was so small that the D looked like a B. So I was like, that does not make sense. Okay, now it makes sense.
Because I'm thinking, no, that's, yeah. So
Okay, I'm good. I'm good with that one.
is that, and I might be wrong, unless somebody else has something wiser to say. Because I struggled with this
I
one.
have nothing.
Does that make sense, Zoe, to you? Or did you get an answer? Or
What is the answer? Is that A?
A is what I put. What did you
I
get?
think A is right.
What did you get, Zen? Did you get A?
I'm not sure about this one.
You weren't sure? Yeah, well, I wasn't sure
So
either.
basically what we're saying is if the price of wood, which wood is something you use to make fences, goes down, then they're going to be able to produce way more fences, right? So then supply of fences is going to shift up, and the only that is A.
Yeah, it would
That's
shift
my
to the
logic.
right, because when you
Yeah,
increase your supply,
yeah, that's what I meant by up. So, right.
right? Okay, because your quantity runs along the bottom, the horizontal line.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm going with A, unless somebody can tell me something and talk me out of it.
Works for me.
Okay, who's next? Why
I
is
think
that-
it's
why
me,
are
but
Okay,
I
go,
feel like
Alyssa.
I keep I keep getting ones that I was like unsure about, so let's see what
That
happens.
was mine.
So I highlighted both B and D because I really wasn't sure, but maybe now that I've learned a little more, and then the activity of turkey farmers, would that that wouldn't change the demand curve, would it? Wouldn't that change supply? So would it be a shift? I don't know.
Yes, it would. Let's see. All else. Okay, I got to read the first. See, I don't read the first part. That's my problem. So the diagram below pertains to the demand of turkey in the United States. And then all else equal, an increase in productivity of turkey farmers would cause a movement from productivity, so they would produce more. So I put it would go from Y to Z. I mean, Y to X.
Yeah,
But it might be from X to Y.
I think it's D.
Did you say D? You have to talk
But
real
my
loud.
answer, but my
What
answer
was
is
yours?
B.
D?
Yours was B.
Uh-huh.
Why would it the increase in productivity cause a demand change?
Because they can produce more in the same time, so they will produce more. So just shift the supply. Wait, hold on.
Yeah, shifting supply. Yeah, no, I did this.
Yeah.
Believe me.
My fault.
No, that's why I'm not moving from. That's why I think A and B are wrong, because it has to do with supply. It does not have to do with demand, right? Do we agree with that? Right?
I'm still thinking. I think it's D. Now I think I've convinced myself of D.
Yeah,
Okay, D.
and that's what I put because, but see, when you increase the supply, it's got to increase the quantity, so it moves to the right. That's my only question. The whole this was
that's my thing.
My supply is increasing to the right. It goes to the right, correct?
And that moves the point down.
Yeah. So that would be a movement down. Because if I have more productivity with my turkey farmers, I can offer a lower price. Does that make sense? And so that to me why I also look at Y going down to X. So I got D.
Same.
Does anybody
I'm good with that.
agree? Okay. Whose turn is it? Yours, Sin?
Yeah.
Sin's turn. Excellent.
19. Which of the four panels illustrates a decrease in quantity supplied? I put D.
B.
I put A for that one.
I put B.
Okay, I got D. So let's look at this.
Oh. So this is kind of something we talked about for number 13, right? I think it was 13 where it was quantity increase in supply and increase in quantity supplied.
Right.
The difference between that. And from what I read, I think increase in supply is a shift in supply to the right.
Right. But they're
and
asking,
an increase in quantity supplied would be an increase on the supply curve.
okay. So
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no,
Did anyone else get that when they read? So then the supply curve, there wouldn't be a shift because we're talking about quantity supplied. So that's how I got A. So an increase in supply would go from that little point P, whatever that E, to PE prime.
You mean from QE to QE1 or from?
Yeah, either way.
But see, to me, diagram A shows arrow from QE to QE1, which is showing more quantity. This is saying a decrease in quantity supplied.
Oh, it's asking for a decrease.
not an increase. So it can't be
Super right.
A.
Totally read that too fast. Yep, you're right. So it's got to be B.
So B, okay. I can see the decrease in quantity there.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to look at that because that's what confused me. Quantity supplied as opposed to quantity, what was the other one?
Oh, I changed my
It's
mind.
just without quantity.
It's B.
Did you say B or D, Zoe?
The second one.
Yeah, B.
Yeah, I guess it's B because it's quantity supplied. I guess we only have the one line, not two lines. So
Right.
it would be B.
Yeah, but see, that's the problem I was having that Alyssa was talking about. You said quantity supplied is within the demand, not shifting the supply curve. So what did you say shifted the supply curve?
That's just when they call it like an increase in supply or a decrease in supply.
Okay.
Would be moving the whole line.
But not quantity supplied.
Quantity supplied is just a point on the line moving.
Okay, I'm going to go with you on this one, Alyssa.
Okay, now I'm nervous, but that is what I read. So.
Well, that's why we do this, is so that we can understand each other. Does anybody have a problem with B? I like that. So, because I was looking at the shift in the supply curve going down.
Yeah.
So, okay. And final, Zoe, you get number 20.
Okay. Which of these statements does not apply to market economics? My answer is C. Prices ensure that anyone who wants the products can get it.
Let's see. Which of these statements does not apply to market economies? Okay, I have like an X next to one, a circle next to one, an arrow next to one.
I couldn't really figure it out. I guessed D, but it was a total guess.
I guessed D2, and then it looks like I undid my guess. So let's take one at a time. So D, prices ensure that what needs to get done does in fact get done. That's kind of weird because to me,
it sounded too weird, so I just picked it.
Well, that's what because I originally circled that one too. And C says prices ensure that anyone who wants a product can get it. So that's definitely not. Prices doesn't necessarily make a product being, and yet it kind of does too. Because I wrote in theory, and then B is prices coordinate the actions of millions of people with varying abilities and desires. So I actually put 1, A. Prices prevent decentralized decision-making from degenerating into chaos. That to me didn't, because to me, prices coordinate the actions of millions of people. How we set prices depends upon what jobs are available, and I don't know. And you said B, Zoe?
C.
C? Prices ensure that
the third one
can get it. I guess that, because technically just ensuring, I don't know. They all seem so ambiguous.
It's a weird question ambiguous, because it's like prices ensure that what needs to get done does in fact get done. I'm like, what are you talking about? What needs to get done?
Well, in other words, they're talking in theory of, of economies, that if people want bread, you're going to produce bread. I run a bakery. So if people are buying more bread than they are cookies, then I'm going to produce more bread than I am cookies.
Right.
So that to me makes sense. And prices coordinate. So it's what does price affect how does price affect the economy? But, and Zoe, again, what did you say? C?
Mm.
Is that what you said, C? Because that,
Mhm.
I bounced back and forth in that one too, because prices ensure that anyone who wants a product can get it. Well, if you don't have enough money to buy a product, it doesn't, you know what I
Then
mean?
you can't necessarily give it.
Yeah, but if somebody's, you know, willing to mark it down low enough, does that, you know? So
Yeah,
it just seemed
because
odd.
market economies do result in lower prices. So I didn't know if that's kind of what that was
It's almost like I could
implying.
justify every one of these. So none of them stood out to
I
me
agree.
as being.
I just Google it. The answer is C.
Okay.
See,
Good job, Zoe. You're
I'll
good.
take it.
I love it. Good job.
Awesome.
Only a millennial will think of that, you guys. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Then I will go with C.
So how does this work? Do we each submit our own?
And then you go on and you take the quiz and submit your own. You can choose.
Okay, perfect.
You can choose to do the ones we said or not. So, and then I'll go
choosing.
on and I'll log in the recorded version, so he can check in it and make sure that
Awesome.
we were intended. So, okay. Enjoy Hawaii. How's the weather there?
Beautiful today.
Yeah, it looks pretty nice. I got nasty rainy out there. It looks sunny, but it's not. It's rainy. So,
Aw.
Northwest, I live in Washington State. It rains all the time. So I'm just 4 hours south of Seattle. So one of the
Awesome.
cities that get the most rain year round. So anyway. Okay, well, perfect. Thank you, ladies. Thank you
Yes,
for being
thank you.
so
Yeah,
thank you for being so smart. And thanks, Zoe, for getting that last question right. And then for
True.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. I will see you guys next week then.
Awesome.
Okay. Enjoy your family, Alyssa.
Thank you.
Bye.